Hey all you glucose warriors, welcome to another episode of That Diabetes Guy. In this episode, I'm going to review and demonstrate how to use a blood sugar meter. I'm going to give you some expert tips along the way. And then finally, I'm going to show you some bad habits that a lot of, let's just say, seasoned individuals do when they monitor their blood sugar. So stay tuned and enjoy. Thanks for sticking around, and let's go ahead and get started. So here's my kit. We're gonna pull out our meter here, our Lancet device, our test strips, and the very first thing we're gonna start with is getting our hands ready. So we wash our hands with warm soap and water, rinse it off really good, make sure our hands are dry. If you don't wanna use soap and water, we could always use an alcohol pad. So I like to carry these in my pack so that, if I'm not near a sink, then I can just use alcohol swab, which is fine too. And I'm gonna clean off my site, so I'm gonna use the outside of my finger here. And we could use all of our fingers. We wanna rotate on each side of our finger, but I'm gonna go with my ring finger. And our Lancet device, now this is a drum of 6 needles in here with the fast clicks. I'm gonna be able to just quickly change it by sliding this lever over, and now we have a new needle. And I'm gonna turn my phone off. There we go. So I got a new needle, I got my meter out, now I need to get the test strip ready. I wanna close that back up so no moisture gets in there. And most times when you put the strip into your meter, it should turn on like so. But again, every meter is a little bit different, so you might have to look at your instructions, make sure that you're inserting the test strip in the correct position. So I'm ready to go, and I have about 30 seconds to get a blood drop on the strip. And you also want to be mindful of the type of strip you're using. If you need to put the blood drop at the end of the tip there to where it fills that complete window. I don't know if you can see that. Or sometimes strips, you have to put a blood drop on the side of it. So we're gonna look at our instructions and figure out what strip you have and then apply the blood in the right position. So when I'm ready, I'm gonna kind of make sure my hand's dry from the alcohol, which it is, and I'm ready to go. I'm gonna line up my Lancet device over the hole where I wanna poke, and just a simple click. And the blood should come out really easy. I'm not squeezing hard, and I have a nice, bubble of blood here, and I am ready to apply the blood. And you should be able to see it kind of suck up into that window and completely saturate the window. We don't want it to partially saturate. We want to make sure we kind of cover that whole window so we get a good reading. And I just ate and I'm a little high, so that's something I got to keep an eye on. And that's it. The test strip is done, so we can throw this away. It's disposable and I like to use the alcohol swab too. It's kind of like a nice napkin, or if you have a napkin around, but we want to make sure we clean off the blood. Well, I hope you enjoyed that short demonstration. Now, let me give you a few expert tips. Number one, make sure your hands are dry and clean. So if you're using alcohol or using soap and water, patting it dry with a clean towel or waving your hand around so that it's completely dry. Try to avoid blowing on it. Adding contaminants would not be ideal. But we don't want to dilute the sample at all and getting a false reading. Number two is making sure the test strips aren't damaged. So anytime you pull out a new box of test strips, it's actually advised to use the calibration solution, which is basically fake blood, and it determines if it falls between a certain range. And yes, those calibration solutions often expire within like 3 or 6 months, depending on the brand. Another thing that really damages test strips is humidity. When you pull out a test strip, make sure you close the lid right away, because we don't want to pull in extra humidity. The test strips will kind of soak in all that extra moisture. So we want to keep it in the original container, because these are actually designed to pull the moisture out once you seal it. So we want to keep them nice and dry, stored in a room temperature place. And if you're out and about with your kit, be mindful of where you're keeping it, because if you're storing it in your car, and if you live in an area like Ohio where it gets really hot or really cold, well, temperature will damage it. So freezing weather, or even a nice warm day, if it's left in the car, it can easily get over 110 degrees inside, and that could damage them as well. Number three, if you're having difficulty getting a drop of blood to put on the test strip, we might have to work on the technique of getting the blood out of your finger. So One of the things I would recommend is maybe washing your hands with warm soap and water, because the warmth of the water is going to help open up your blood vessels and really promote good perfusion to your fingers. If you're poking and nothing's coming out, well, make sure you're changing the needle out and it's sharp, and that the depthness of the needle is correct. Often the devices, the lancet devices, there's a dial to adjust the depthness of the needle. So we might have to consider going to a larger depth to get a blood sample correctly. Number 4, and this is my last tip. I know 3 was a big one. Some kits come with like a clear top to their lancet device. This one's solid. I just don't have one on hand. I apologize. But this particular piece would be clear. And what that is used for is for alternative test sites. So some individuals, they really have a hard time getting a blood sample from their fingers, maybe because they work with their hands all day and they're calloused and it's just, you know, their hands are like a rock. So the provider might allow them to use alternative test sites like their palm of their thumb, or even heard earlobe, but again, this would have to come from the provider. I wouldn't advise you to use those alternative testing sites like the arm or thumb or earlobes. Those are like the last resort option. All right, now that I went through those expert tips, I want to show you some bad habits we should all try to avoid. And being a seasoned person with diabetes and testing for many years, I've been guilty of these categories, and I'm sure some of you watching can probably nod to them and be like, yep, that's me. But I kind of broke them down into different sections, and I hope you enjoy. Hey Jake. Hey, what's up? Could you help me out? Is there like a drugstore around close by I can go pick up some supplies? I just didn't bring something I need. I gotta check my blood sugar here. The closest one would be like a CVS, and that's like 20, 25 minutes away. And what do you need? Yeah, I just gotta check my blood sugar before we eat. I just need something really sharp. Do you have like a sewing needle or a sharp knife or anything? I could just kind of poke my finger so I can get a blood drop. I can look. I'm not sure about the sewing needle, but you know what? I got you. Hold on one sec. Yeah, I got you a knife. Really? That's it? I mean, I don't even know how you can cut a steak with this. I think I got butter knife sharper than this. You got anything else? Okay, I'll take the knife back. How about this? You just kind of put your finger right there and boom, done. How am I going to use that, Jake? You're an idiot. I don't even know how I'm related to you. You know what, Jake? If you try it and show me how to do it, then I'll try it. But I'm pretty sure you're going to lop off your finger. No? It's really easy. You just, that'll get blood. That's crazy. Just try to find something else. Okay, I will keep on looking. Whoa, I'll take the butter knife. Give me the butter knife. All right, maybe I'm a little crazy. I can't be the only one though with bad habits. So for all those out there monitoring their blood sugar, put in the comments below. I want to hear what you guys do. Make me feel a little bit better about myself, okay? And thank you again for all those who have subscribed to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, maybe consider subscribing or liking the video, put in your comments, tell me what you guys want. But I'm really excited for some content coming up. I just interviewed my first professional this week. It's going to be a dietitian, and I can't wait to get that episode out to you. So turn on those notifications, and until next time, take care.